Hey guys, it's Davor from Tennis House. I will break down, I got a lot of mail, they want the one-handed backhand. So I'm gonna break that down for you guys into 6 phases. I count the grip as phase number 1, the unit turn is 2, the contact, the loading is 3, the contact point is 4, the follow through is 5, and the finish is 6. So stay with me. I will split all of them up and put them separately on there because there's a lot of things to say about it. As always, please subscribe. Click on the right bottom of your screen now and subscribe and turn on the notification button. Let's start with the grip. So the one-handed backhand, when we look at the racket grip and we have those 8 bevel, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and usually a good grip is to put the index knuckle, which is right here. The index knuckle goes on 1 and the heel pad is more towards 8. And yeah, as a one-hander, that's a good comfortable grip. If you want to create more topspin, so right here, this is the grip. Okay, if you want to create more topspin, you just turn the racket a little bit more in your hands to the right. So you start off with the index knuckle on 1, the heel pad on 8, which I have right now, and you can hit a great backhand with that. And then if you want a little bit more topspin and a little bit more control, I turn it a little bit more around, so I'm right here. So I feel like I can grip the ball a little bit better if I go a little bit more to the right, which is important with the grips, right? So the hand basically stays like this. What changes is with the left hand, we change the grip here. So if I was just about to hit a forehand, right, and I was hitting a forehand and I catch the racket and the ball's coming to the backhand, I just open my hand up and turn the racket to the right and re-grip. So with the time you'll feel how much you have to turn with the left hand and open this hand up. So watch again. So I caught the racket, I'm right here, I got the ball on the backhand side. So I just open the hand and turn the racket to the right and re-grip. You see that? And again. And this can become a natural motion for you as more often you do that. What I would do is I would shadow forehand and change the grip. Shadow forehand and change the grip. So that's the best way to get really comfortable with hitting that one-handed backhand and getting the right grip. So as I said, key is to turn the racket and open the hand up and re-grip. So some players like to have the index finger a little bit spread and a little bit away from the middle finger, so it feels like you have a little bit more feel. I know a lot of players who basically have a fist and they hit their backhands. So for me personally, I feel like on the forehand side, if I have a fist, I can't control, I don't feel the ball. I need that index finger a little bit spread to call this trigger finger to feel the ball. On the backhand for me, it's not as important. I might have it a little bit spread so I can feel it. And even if I have a fist, I can feel still that backhand. So this is what I was talking about, the fist and a little bit spread. This is totally up to you. As I said, for me on the backhand side, not as much of a problem than as of a forehand side where I don't feel the ball at all if I make a fist with my hand. Shoulder turn in the series, which we're talking about it now. And as always, guys, subscribe on the right bottom of the screen and click the notification button on if you like what we're doing. So shoulder turn, as simple as that. It's the same like the two-hander. So the first thing we always do, no matter what happens, right? That's why Roger and Rafa and Novak, they're never late, they never frame the ball, rarely. They split and then they turn, right? So that turn is so important to not be late, especially on a surface like this. You play on a hard court, you need to make sure that you split and turn. So for a one-hander, when you split and turn, while I'm turning, what I described earlier in the first video, if you watch it, if not, go back and watch it. When I split and I turn now, I open my hand up and the left hand helps me to turn the racket in the right position. That left hand is important. So the left hand on the take back is critical. So the right shoulder turns, but you can pull as well with the left hand. It feels like you grip the racket on the hard and you pull the racket back and the right shoulder turns. So that's a little bit like a hint how you can remember that. So the left hand is crucial. So what I say always is you build a L with your fingers right here, and then you put the hands up back there and you grip the racket on the throat right here so you feel comfortable, so you can turn it with your left hand. Very important, because the feel is everything in tennis. All you want is a good feel. So when I go, I split, left hand turns the racket, and I open the hand shortly up, so and then I regrip. So keep that in mind. You split, you open the hand, you turn, and then the right shoulder turns, the left arm can pull the racket as well back. So how far do I turn? It's like every person is different. A good way, you just rotate the upper body against the lower body, and you're gonna feel your physical limitations, how far and how much it feels comfortable to turn. And then instead of doing this right now, I can just do this right now with the racket, right? So what is important is that you keep the racket head above your wrist when you turn, all right? The strings point over there, right here. This is the key. No matter where the ball is coming now, I'm turned and I'm ready to go. The elbow is a little bit out for the one-hander, right? I have it right here. So when you look at it, it's right here and it's up. Very important. You want it up because when you go and hit the ball later, you simply have a longer way of acceleration if it's up. So you drop the racket and hit. If it's here, you have a shorter way of acceleration. Plus, it will help you to create more topspin if you're higher, and it makes it easier later to hit the ball. So, as I said earlier, when we go, we split, turn, everything is up. So now, when you're up in this position, no matter where the ball is, you're ready to go. And that is so critical. A lot of beginner players do not do that. So they just go to the ball, they run, and they're late because they do everything at the last moment. Biggest mistake in recreational tennis. If you're good, you will split and turn, and no matter if the ball is now, if it's back there, then I have to cross over and shuffle back. If it's forward, I run, then I get into the short shuffle step and hit the ball. If it's here, I go back, but I'm always turned, so I'm ready to hit. This is so easy to fix, and everything you do, you need a lot of repetition in tennis. That's very important, so practice that, repeat it repetitively, and it will get natural. So turns here, set, and out. This is this third video. We talk about the loading on the one-handed backhand now, and the preparation a little bit in the sense of like the footwork, what you have to do. So on a regular one-hander, so we talked about the split, the grip, changing the grip in general, and the turn. So now, wherever the ball is, in a regular rally, what you see is, you always see the players like getting out, a little shuffle, and they set and hit. That's the perfect scenario, right? So the ball comes right a little bit here, you split, you go out, in, and swing. So that's like a rhythm thing, you know, you like split, turn, shuffle out, step, step in, and hit. Sometimes we don't have time to do that. When you see the guys rallying and they go out here, step and hit and recover back, it always looks like nice and smooth when they go, and that's in the perfect world, right? So if you're under pressure, even with the one-hander, you see the greats like Wawrinka, Tsitsipas, like when they're in a team, when they're in trouble, the same as like a two-hander, what they do is they split turn, they run out now, they load the outside leg and push off and hit that ball. So the ball's coming out, they run, load, and then while they jump, the toes start already to point in the direction for the recovery. Very important. So they're loading, they're hitting, and the toes point already in the direction of the recovery. So that was the open stance. And in defense, it's the same. Split turn, the ball gets back, crossover, shuffle, load the back leg, and then hitting the ball. So remember, when you load, let's talk about a regular ball. When you load here, do not bend the knees too much. You lose energy. This is the energy you're storing right now. When you ride here, if you bend too low, you lose energy. If you do not bend at all, which a lot of recreational players do, you don't have any energy there, right? So use the big muscles, they run the show, use the ground force, and I think the number is about 20% bend and out. what I like to tell my players, since I want to give you practical tips, just tell them right before they hit to squat a little bit and then go out. Split, squat a little bit and up. That squat a little bit is going to help them to remember how to hit. With little kids, you tell them you drop a ball and you say bounce, and the bounce they have to bend, and at hit they get out. And then you can do that with controls where you stand in front of them, toss the ball and later on without just dropping it. As soon as it bounces, they bend, and at hit they go out. Just two ways to work on, like when to load the legs and hitting the ball back. So the loading is very important. As I said, all the power comes from the legs. It starts in the legs. Too many players play out of the upper body. So they hit like this, they use the shoulder, and they push. You see this. There's so many variations. I can show you 2 million things. The key is being ready, loading the legs, and then using that force so you have some momentum going for you to not just put pressure on the upper body. In the next video, we're going to talk about the contact point. Stop. Alright guys, this is the 4th video of the backhand, one-handed backhand series. The contact point for one-hander, and ideally on a regular shot, you want to have the contact point a good half a foot, maybe a foot, like almost a foot in front of you. For a two-hander, it's a little bit closer because you have your left hand on there. So for a right-hander, feel free to be like right there, so you're way in front, and then you have your arm extended contact. It's important when you take your racket back, it's bent, and when you contact, it's straight. So it's like when you punch someone, you go like this, it's not going to hurt. If you go like this, it's going to hurt a little bit more. Same here, you have the arm tiny bit bent. It's not straight, it's a tiny bit bent, and then you extend towards contact. And then the important is when you're back here, you drop the racket head, so the butt cap, I always refer the butt cap points a little bit to the left. So you're here, and if you drop the racket at the right spot here, too many players are too stiff and they just go and hit the ball like this. So that's going to be like this pusher backhand you see a lot because the wrist is too tight, and it's a happy medium between a tight, like loosening up in the wrist, because when I correct that with a lot of players, when they go back here, then they're just too loose. So it looks like this and like this and like this. That doesn't work either. So you have to be loose in the wrist, you're back here, and now you have to have a smooth take back. It's not a drop, you just smoothly take it back to here. The butt cap points to the left as a reference point, and then when the ball is dropping down, you go forward and up and you roll it up, right? So we're just talking about the contact now. So you're gonna be right here, you drop it, you go out and a little up right here, and you're strong, your spine is straight, and then as soon as you start your forward motion to hit, your left arm goes back. So in the end, you're gonna be like this. This is the finish point, what I'm going to talk about later, but it's important that you know that from this position, as soon as your right arm does this little C, as soon as it initiates the C right here, your left arm goes back, and this is for the counterbalance and the control of the shot. So contact is in front right here. Two-hander a little bit closer, and the slice is even can be a little bit closer than the two-hander. This is the one of the three that's the closest to your body, where you can just control that ball better. And now we're going to talk about the follow-through. So the follow-through. In the previous video, we talked about the contact point, which is a little bit in front of us. So now the follow-through is like, as you see right now, I'm going to be still right here. Follow-through is two things that are important with the one hand, that the left arm goes back, and on the follow-through that you go forward as long as you can, forward and up, and on the last moment you roll it up. Why is it so important? So for a two-hander, it's the left arm that is so important for the follow-through. For when you look at Novak, how nice he goes through that ball and hits that ball beautifully in the backhand. For a one-hander, it's like same thing, you have to be stable, almost straight spine. So you go, you hit it, and then you go forward, and your head is still. You can't move your head like crazy because you're gonna not have any control over the shot. So you stay low, you go up here and control that follow through. So the follow through, it depends like what ball you get, obviously. Like the follow through is always the same, but it depends what kind of ball you get. Is if you get a super fast ball, you can block just to have a little blocking motion like this, so the follow through is a little bit shorter. If you have time, especially on recreational level, when the ball comes slower, too many people have too many parts moving. If your ball comes slower, you need to even more than to stay longer with the ball, and last moment you go up. And if the ball is super fast, you can block it more. So it's different variations and different spins that can come to you, and you have to adjust accordingly to what's coming to you. And in the next video, I will talk about the finish and what you need to look at for a one-hander and how you need to look. Hey guys, this is Davor. This is the last video of the one-hander backhand series. I got so much mail that wanted to see a one-hander, and yeah, so let's go to the finish. So on the finish, I'm going to show the finish in this view here. Is when you hit the ball like we talked earlier, you go up. When you finish with the shot, right here, perfect world, the butt cap points forward when you're done. That's like a reference point that you finished correctly. So way above the shoulder and up. But the finish depends as well. This was a regular shot. Sometimes, you know, you have to roll it on a short angle, so you're going to finish a little bit. Ball is coming, you're going to finish a little bit more like this. So you just dip that ball over, so you go from pocket to right, short backs, follow through right there. And sometimes you have to lob, so you have to go up more like this, and sometimes you go more through the ball. So it depends what kind of shot you hit. That's how your finish adjusts. But as well as the two-hander, on a two-hander, sometimes you have to dip the ball for the cross court. It's the same for the one-hander. You have to feel that and do that with one hand. Sometimes you have to go up like this for the lob. The two hands the same. So the finishes kind of look similar, but you just go with the one hand. And then important as a one-hander, this is the most important part on the finish. When you're done with the shot, that it's like looks like a little triangle in the end, and that means that you follow through correctly, that you had good balance because your left arm went back there, and that you control with the ball. This is what you want to have when you hit a one-hander in the finish moment, the triangle. So all those six put together, you should have a pretty decent backhand.